Okay, let's do a quick one about email trigger. We're going to click add first step, and let's say that right now we're just going to do Gmail. So we have the trigger on message received, which will be listening for a test event. I've hooked up my credentials to my email account, and if you're curious about how to hook up the credentials, I made a video on the YouTube called "Connect Google Credentials in Under 5 Minutes." Go ahead and watch that. It's super super easy. You can also, when you come in to create new credential, if you click on um, maybe it's not for this one, but there's Docs right here, and you pretty much just have to go to like your Google Cloud and you'll set that kind of stuff up. So you want to get to this page and it's going to show you guys really easy, but also that video on YouTube. But okay, anyways. So what we do here is we can click fetch test event, and this is going to pull in emails that I got on this email account. So as you can see, this is the email, and it was just kind of a test. So this is pulling the information in, and we're able to simplify it or not simplify it based on how much content we want back. So now I click unchecked simplify, and we're getting more information back. So that's kind of how that works, right? But this, if we leave it like this is assuming that every single time that we want this workflow to run, we're still going to come in here and have to click fetch test event. So let me show you guys that real quick. So I'm going to go to this email, and I'm going to send myself an email, which is just going to be testing Gmail trigger. And then as far as the content, let's just make this super easy to recognize, and I'm just going to put a ton of F's in here. Okay, so we're sending that off. Gmail test trigger. So we see this email in my Gmail. Now if we come here, we hit fetch test event, and hopefully it updates. It might take a while, or by a while I mean a couple. Okay. Anyways, so we got this. We can see this is what's coming back, right? So if we simplify it, it's going to just have less information, and it just gives a snippet, so it doesn't show the entire email. So most of the time, unless you're just trying to grab maybe like a thread ID of the actual email, or maybe just the date of an email that came back, or just subjects or whatever, then you can simplify it. But for the most use cases, we want to actually be able to read the content of the email, and most emails are going to be longer than just that snippet that was shown earlier. So we're going to probably leave this as not simplified. As you can see, you have different ways to poll. If you just want to poll every day, you can do every month. You can set up a custom. Every minute is typically what you want to do. For most use cases, I would say, but maybe it's an end of the day thing. But then from there, your event is message received. And then we have a few other options. You can filter through different statuses, through different folders, labels, spam and trash, drafts. You can filter by sender, and then you have options for like downloading attachments. So that's kind of how this trigger works. But if we were to push this into production, so now we clicked active. Your workflow will now regularly check Gmail for events and trigger executions for them. These executions will not show up immediately in the editor. So what that means is when you're in here and you're testing things and you click test workflow, you see the red spinny circle, and then you see it go green. When we're pushing something into production, we're not going to see that stuff happen live. So that's why a lot of times in my YouTube videos, I don't have them active, because I want to see the visual process. So this thing is active, and we can check by looking at the executions, right? So our last execution was that manual test event that we just did. This one right here. So this was the Gmail trigger that we just fetched test event. It was a snippet. So what we're going to do is I'm going to send another email right here. And this is going to say active. So we're going to send that off. And now we have this waiting in our Gmail. And so this is going to be running every minute. Pretty much at the top of the minute is when it's going to be grabbing. It's doing a poll to see if any new emails have come in. So as you can see, it just came in. This is the one that we just saw. Obviously, active is the subject. The actual text of the email is active. But we wouldn't have seen it come through in the editor. Right here in the editor, we still have our FFFFF. So if you're maybe testing things out and you're not seeing it refresh, that's going to be why. That's kind of how the Gmail trigger works. Obviously, from there, you would set up a ton of different logic. Maybe you could route emails based on the label, or you could do some sort of labeling system up front and then route them. Create drafts for you, reply to them. Maybe you just want to pull information back on a Gmail trigger at the end of the day, like I said. So that's going to be it for the Gmail trigger. I see that being a pretty common use case, Gmail or Outlook. It's the same concept of polling, waiting for an email. So let's move on to another type of trigger.